God is up there somewhere with keeping notes on all of us.
Now, I don't believe that there's somebody sitting in the sky with his feet propped up on top of the world called God. I believe that God is the presence of good that is within each individual person, whether he knows it or not. And this is where my ministry comes in. It is my ministry to make the individual aware that the presence of God, the presence of all good, the potential of good is within each individual and not in the sky somewhere.
But traditionally, especially in the Deep South, it began and of course has spread to the urban centers of the North, certainly in the last several years. The notion that this doom and gloom the spell under which we all are functioning will someday end, and Jesus will take us into his great paradise that he has prepared for us. So cope now, because there is a great reward later.
I usually say, when you find the heaven that is within you, then you will find yourself in heaven. Not until then, because heaven and hell are both states of mind. When a person is in a very doubtful and negative state of mind, he's always going to catch hell. He's going to experience hell. But when the individual finds the heaven, the harmony, the God, the good, the love that is resident in his own being, then he begins to experience heaven.
So when a person says, "Oh Lord, I'm sorry, please help me get through this vale of tears, this valley of temptation," you deplore that, don't you?
Well, if this is the person's only understanding, he has to pray on the level of his understanding. However, the Bible does say, "Be you transformed by the renewing of your mind." And this is what this ministry does. In other words, you change your conditions by changing your self-image. If you see yourself as a person who is in a vale of tears and under conditions and circumstances, that's the way you will be until you change your mind, until you change your self-image.
Is it your view that traditional fundamentalist religion makes it more difficult to change one's mind?
Yes, it does, because here again, you see, in that type of religion, we are taught that either God or the devil are responsible for what happens to us. But in what I call the science of living, or the science of self-awareness, I teach that the individual is responsible for his condition, and not only that, the individual, by using his own mind positively, can change his condition and modify his conditions. And so the responsibility for our lives does not lie with some deity in the sky, but it lies with the God power within each one of us.
And is that what you mean by saying, don't wait for your pie in the sky by and by?
Get it now with ice cream on top.
That's a kind of euphemism which is the core of your message, isn't it?
Yes, it is. Because I believe that good is now. Whatever good is, whatever God is, that is now.
But how do I get it if I come to one of your services and I'm one of 4,000 people and you are attracting larger and larger crowds? I don't understand how, if I'm in the back row, what are you saying to me that's going to get me out of this sort of self-fulfilling prophecy of doom? And
all right, first of all, I make the individual aware that the power of God, the power of good, the power of love is within his own being, and that he has the power to believe in himself, and by believing in himself correctly and positively, he can be what he wants to be, do what he wants to do, and have what he wants to have. Also, one of the techniques that I teach is called visualization. It teaches the person to see himself being, doing, and having the good which he desires. Because here again, I regard the Bible as a book of psychology rather than a book of theology. And the Bible says, where there is no vision, the people perish. And it simply means that if you cannot see yourself in a better condition, you will die in the terrible condition that you're in. And so by teaching individuals, even in mass, to see themselves in a better condition, they are led into the correct ways and means of becoming better, doing better, and having better. And I see it happen all the time.